Hello, thank you for attending, everyone. Welcome to another great podcast about real estate investing. And my name is Si Wing Yi from the Yi Real Estate Network. And my guest speaker once again is Miss Maureen McCann from Spartan Invest. Welcome, Maureen. How are you?
Thank you, Seawing. I am fantastic. And it is just, I cannot even imagine what you have in store for me today, but I am ready.
There you go. Exactly. It's in this you do fine. We have some very good content coming up, and without further ado, let's get it started. And this module, the title will be Pandemic Housing Boom and Bust, the winners and the losers. And so, from my perspective, of course, yeah, I'm going to have your thoughts as always. And my, in my opinion, the winners are real estate investors who buy rentals right now. And also, the other winners are homeowners, primary homeowners also, who stay put. That means they are riding out this housing storm, right? And then let me finish, okay? Two more slides and quickly before you will provide your thoughts. The losers, in my estimation, in my opinion, are renters who stay on the sidelines and continue to rent, and they are subject to skyrocketing rents and what have you. Also, people who try to time the market, and also people who are waiting for a housing crash, which is kind of same as the people who try to time the market. And lastly, the losers are homeowners who are selling right now because they are too impatient, they are too emotional, and they have this psychology of FOMO, FOMO, fear of missing out. So, without further ado, Maureen, go ahead and by all
I
means
don't I
share
don't
your
think I would
thoughts.
disagree with you here, Seawing. I think there are going to be winners and losers in any kind of economic sort of upset. And I think you and I have enough history, and we've learned that anyone that waits, they really kind of miss out on the opportunity ahead of, I mean, at at hand. It kind of reminds me of what happened in 2008, right? There was a lot of turmoil in the marketplace. And so a lot of people just sat on the sidelines, kind of figuring out what was going on with the housing market when a lot of the winners jumped in and they executed on buying properties for cents on the dollar, which they still own today, which they've still capitalized on significant equity growth since 2008, 9, when they bought, or 10, whenever they purchased. And then they've also benefited from the escalating rents over the time because of the housing shortage that we have. So those action takers in 2008, 9, 10 that purchased real estate, they were the winners in this particular game. So we're in a, it's not, this is not 2008, but it's definitely a situation where we're, in my lifetime anyway, at least as an adult, that I can remember, where we are in a high inflationary state. And so one of the best hedges against inflation is owning a hard asset that not only appreciates in value, it produces cash flow and reduces your tax liability. So I think the winners are going to be those investors that do jump in to the market now, do capitalize. Maybe you pay a little bit of higher interest rate now to still acquire that same hard asset. But I don't think the winners are going to be in crypto or the stock market. I'm not even sure gold and silver are even going to be that good this time around. So as investors, we just have to make a decision on, with informed decision, with good content and good bones, to decide where do you place your capital today. So I think the winners are the real estate investors that are going to jump in. I think the homeowners that are staying, because we still have a housing shortage, that equity growth is still going to be there for us in the coming years. And I do think the losers are those who are going to sit on the sideline. They're going to be panicked. They're going to sell. They're going to be too emotional. The ones that get scared or pushed on the sidelines because they're like, I don't want to pay 6.5% loan on an interest rate for a rental property, which is still a phenomenal rate, because you lock into a 30-year fixed payment, and then you've got that beautiful rent escalation, or call it rent inflation, over the same time period that they hold that property. So I agree with you, winners and losers. I don't have anything to counter to you.
Yep, you pretty much nail it in a coffin. And yeah, so just review our slideshow once again. We discussed the winners or those investors who have the wherewithal to pull the trigger right now, to lock into the interest rate, lock into a little bit of positive cash flow. That's a good foundational start. And on primary homeowners as well, they have to show a lot of discipline. The people who already own homes right now, they have purchased during the pandemic a year or 2 years ago. And prior to that, you guys have done very well. And don't let the negative headlines overwhelm your goal. Just ride out the storm, because if you invest, if you stage a house for the long term, the market will come back. I mean, right now is a temporary correction, okay? And if you sell at the wrong time, you're gonna lose out. So stay the course, and what have you. So and then my the last 2 minutes of this video, we're gonna talk about uh, the key investment philosophy that stood the test of time, which is buy low and sell high, or even never sell for the duration of your lifetime, and do some generational wealth transfer in the future. So buy low and sell high, or not sell at all. And another success blueprint is not buy low and sell low, which is potentially is happening right now, right? And we see price drops going on in many markets. Price drops are not necessarily actual housing drop, but remains to be seen what market are have actual price reductions. And so not buy low and sell low, which is right now. Do not sell right now if you don't have to. And finally, buy in good, affordable markets. Just look at the numbers. So the numbers make sense, especially for real estate investors that you and I work with. A foundation of positive cash flow and invest for the long term. So, what are your thoughts about my philosophy? Buy low and sell high, and not buy low and sell low, which is right now. So, what are your final thoughts on this particular video presentation?
So I've definitely heard the buy low and sell high before, and I've heard that from Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett, that they look for those types of opportunities in the stock market where they're experienced. And we look for these types of opportunities in real estate because this is our market. The to buy low and sell low, I think that's emotions running in the market. So some people are going to have to sell. They might be in a difficult situation financially, and so they'll have to unfortunately be in that position where they'll have to liquidate their asset or assets in order to weather the storm, because maybe they're in an industry that's really affected by this, or they're facing layoffs, or they're getting corporate memos about impending layoffs coming. I saw Wayfair was laying off some people, and some other companies were too. So maybe if you're a Wayfair, employee, and you're a little nervous, maybe this is something that you do, right? But it's not a very strategic or smart thing to do if you are well positioned, well capitalized, where you can weather the storm. So sit tight, raise your sails, and go in the direction of the wind, right? That's what I would say. And then the last one I don't remember because you took it off there. I don't have good memory, Wing.
Okay, I mean, it's just buy in affordable markets, and
Oh,
just buy investment property where the numbers make sense, which you as a turnkey provider in the Sun Belt market in the south and southeast in your area, you as a spot invest, you represent very good markets in Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. So you are in a right place at the right time as a turnkey provider. So you have done all the legwork for out-of-state investors, because the numbers in your market make sense. So one final perspective. So real quick, why the numbers make sense in terms of what you're offering in your region of the country.
well, there's several reasons. I'll just name a few here, but the first is Alabama, the Sunbelt states that we work in or we do business in, they have the lowest property tax rate. So if you want to increase your cash flow, the less money that you have to go that's outgoing, like property taxes, I think it's 3% in Texas, where you've got less than 1% in the markets that we serve. So that's number one, low property tax. Low barrier of entry. We have new build to rents that are under $300,000, between 250 and 280. So you could get a brand new build to rent property that rents for about 1850, 1900, for call it 285. And then you've got a highly organized team on the ground that's really dedicated to the investor's success, as we are a paid for performance business model, and that we succeed and we get paid when our investors get paid. So that's how we operate. And then lastly, I would say, and this is probably for your other operators too, Wing, is you have to get creative in times of uncertainty and change. And so one thing that Spartan has done is to help investors with their borrowing costs. So we're buying down a couple of points to help investors get over that, that little maybe resistance, that little hump of it's too expensive to for the borrowing costs. Now it's like, well, we'll share in some of those borrowing costs because we know that it's good for you long term.
Wow, great value add, great incentive, great motivation to share to the investor audience out there in the YouTube world and any other investment world out there. So yeah, so to recap, the winners and losers. The winners are action takers. They overcome fear to take action, because it's never wrong to buy properties. And take the long-term approach. And the losers are paralyzed by fear. They're paralyzed by all the negative headlines. They've been programmed negatively by the mass media and with the negative headlines out there. So they are the losers. Hate to say that. And the renters, people waiting in the sideline, people waiting for a real estate market crash to buy pennies on a dollar. Well, they've been waiting for a long time for those people waiting for an impending listed market crash. So those are the losers. So at the end of the day, each individual have to decide which side of the fence they wanna stay in. So it's all. So hopefully this presentation will inspire people out there to get on the winning side of this realistic crisis. And thank you so much, Maureen McCann from Spartan Invest, to share your great perspective. My name is Wing Yi from the Yi Real Estate Network. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.